A chairle a chynnydd le gwrordaini sians gwybod yma hans deria ce ma hyn yn dael. A mairach be ma caint sy dael ar eist y mairach agos ta rŵn ysdi ham fwyd yr un hyn. I'd just first of all like to join the thanks for the staff, all of the staff in the House here, everybody. I won't start listing out the different groups of people who have been so helpful over all of the years, and not only helpful, but have become good friends of all of us and have been so kind to all the visitors we've brought in and so accommodating to everybody. And I think it is something that makes Leinster House a great place to work and somewhere that's a pleasure to always come to. Minister, I don't know if it ever happened to you when you were a TD that somebody will either send you an email or a call and say, would you get one of your team to do something, to look at your diary or to check something? And you kind of look yourself to the left and you look yourself to the right and you see that aside from yourself there's two on the team. And what I have noticed in politics is everything's got more complicated. The whole world has got complicated. Bureaucracy has gone mad. Forms are much more difficult. Lots of people are having lots more difficulty interacting with the state. You can't get anybody on the phone. And they come in desperation to people like deputies to try to sort their problems out. And the service they rightly seek should be of a high quality. Now, some people will say, well, that's not the job of the TD. I don't know who's meant to do it. But I would say, actually, I disagree. Because my experience was, you learnt so much about the flaws in the system, whether it was forms that were badly designed, policies that have ridiculous results. But it's only when you go to the coalface, you actually see what ordinary people encounter every day in the system. And I have brought many of the ideas that I've learned from doing my constituency work in as policies when I had the great opportunity to be the minister. And my last act here was to be rapporteur on a committee that looked at the whole issue of means testing, which is a huge issue for people in the west of Ireland, but all over the country. Many people are means tested. So I believe it's absolutely vital, and I can say this going out the door, that there's adequate resourcing of Teachta Dála. And democracy over the world is under challenge. There are lots of people who think that it's an unnecessary expense. There's a lot of commentary to that effect. I believe that democracy is the bulwark of stability and is incredibly important to where we find ourselves as a nation in terms of the progress we have made. And that we must be willing to pay for it. And let the people who don't agree stand up and say they don't agree, but the vast majority of the people do agree. They want the service. If you'll indulge me for one more minute. I remember years ago a lady rang me. She was giving out about something. I was a minister at the time. And she was giving out that I had staff in my constituency office. And I noticed the telephone call came from Dublin. So I let her off for a while and then I said to her, by the way, would you have been mad at me if nobody had answered the phone? This is my constituency office, but you're from Dublin. And she said, well, I suppose I would. And she started laughing and then she apologised and said, OK, I accept. TD's offices are public offices that are accessed by people from all over the place. And we should be fearless in funding them. And my suggestion, Minister, is that after this election, it's the time to do it and to make sure that at least every member of the House has 3 staff. It's not fair to have 1 staff member on their own in your constituency office. That is bad practice. And we should all have a member up here. And I can say that going out the door because I will never benefit if that comes in. But it's time we faced the work burden for TDs and we did something practical about it. And that's one small suggestion. There are other reforms I'd like to see, But that's one I'll put on the agenda here today in what might be my last or my second last speech in the Dáil. Good meal, Margaret.